Hello and welcome to what is sadly the final EWS course preview of 2020, and because it is the last one here from Bluegrass EWS Finale Ligure, I decided to make my life a little tougher by inviting along not only Ruaridh Cunningham but also Neil Donoghue. Ruaridh, this is a special place to race bikes, isn't it?
It is. Finale is the birthplace of Enduro, Rick. We've been here every year as part of the Enduro World Series. This year it's going to be just as special as ever.
And Neil, your first ever EWS course preview. This must be a massive moment in your career.
It is that, Rick, yes, very much. I'm excited to see what the trails are like, see what's in store for the riders. I'm hoping for another classic race.
Cool, well, as we speak, thunder and lightning is sort of rumbling out there in the sea a wee bit. So in the interest of getting this done, Ruaridh, why don't you head off and do stages 2 and 3? Neil and I will get to work on stage 1.
Sounds perfect. We aren't going to keep up anyway.
So just over 58 kilometres in length then, and just over 1500 metres of vertical. After a 15.5 kilometre liaison, they head into Cacciatore. The second stage of the day, Cabianca, 1.6 kilometres long. Then the third stage in memorial to Luca Martini, black and white, brand new for this one. And then to finish the race, an absolute finale classic, Briga d'Estra at 2.7 kilometres in length. Seeing as how you're new, I'll let you go in front just so you get your eye in, you know, and we'll see how we get on.
Wow, conditions look good. So this is one of the more well-used trails, dropping from that Madonna del Guardia Church, famous little riding zone in front of Ligure. And you can just see, basically, from all the rocks sticking out, how well used it is. So it's definitely a risk of puncturing on trails like this. Pretty wide open and quick though to begin with.
The riders will have already ridden a 15.5k liaison to get here to start their day, and then there's the 2.3 kilometres, nearly 450 vertical metre drop of Cacciatore.
It's a bit uppy and downy, these little sort of punchy climbs where you do roll over them, but riders will have to give it a bit of a crank. Oh, I almost overshot that corner. I'm getting too confident. Oh! What a trail.
It's been an EWS here every year for 7 years, usually the last round. If you said to me before this, what do you expect when you come to finale? Fast, physical, that's what we're getting. So we just stopped here just before the halfway point, Neil, and this is a stage with 2 distinct characteristics, isn't it?
It feels quite a complex trail. I know that most of the racers will probably know this trail quite well, but there's lots of little bits up there for me where you can make or lose time. It's fast, but there's a few little corners where you need to come out quickly on the exit, otherwise you're going to lose bits of time. And then, I do remember this, but you drop in some pretty nasty steps down here. We
rode this whenever we first arrived here. I hadn't ridden it before, and you think, oh, it's just some steps, and then the steps get bigger and bigger and bigger, and from here on down then it gets very rocky, doesn't it? But as a racer, you say you've done a 15.5k liaison, which is mostly uphill to get the start of stage 1. What's going through your head? How do you approach this last race of the season?
Well, I think the pressure's always on as a racer, but when there's only 3 races and you need to perform, you're going to have to perform on every stage, and you're dropping into the biggest, hardest one first. So I think, you know, we'll see the reactions from the riders at the bottom of the trail. Some will have thrown it away, some may have won it on the first stage. We'll see.
Go on, let's head down, see what the rest of it's like.
We've had a nice little rest, Rick. The racers won't have this luxury.
That's a bit of trepidation creeping in now from me. Whew.
Big rocks there. If you make a mistake, get offline. And these blind rises that will really catch you out. Yeah, and the dirt at the moment's great. There's a very big thunderstorm just rattling around overhead.
So rough. Whoa. Always have to have your wits about you in this part of the world when riding, but the rewards are there. Oh. Catch it, Ruaridh. What a test to start off proceedings. And there's just a bit of gloss on those rocks now. Oh. And look at this. Neil, you've just pulled us to a halt here, and this for me is very finale. You're booting along, your arms are tired, your brakes are hot, and then all of a sudden you're presented with a 20-foot wide corner that's about 20 foot up in the air.
You know, there's so many options here. You have to look at the bottom of the trail to work out what you're going to do, I think. You don't need to carry a huge amount of speed out of this, so whilst the wide might be tempting, I don't think you need it. So I'll move probably further to the inside of the corner, and the very inside looks pretty full on, pretty gnarly. Don't fancy my chances on that, so I guess you're stuck to the middle, which isn't much more inviting until you get to the bottom where you do have a nice berm.
Nice berm. Okay, everything's relative. It's starting to throw it down my rain. Let's get this ticked off.
Well, we haven't even finished stage one, the rain has come in.
And that rain has just absolutely clattered down. Yeah, we've seen what a difference a bit of moisture can make. And it's a fine line, Neil, here, isn't it? Because we were talking early on about how they were slightly damper, stages were running nicely, but those rocks at the bottom in the rain.
We really saw it last week. It's so hard to predict the weather out here, and riders just have to adapt throughout the day. Like we just did, Rick, we got down. But trails can go from being absolutely brilliant to really, really slippy, and riders just have to know that on the fly, basically.
Well, there is a cafe just down here that I happen to know serves rather good espresso, so let's jump down there whilst Ruaridh tackles 2 and 3.
Welcome to stage 2, everyone. The shortest stage of the race at 1.6 kilometres. Cabianca. Quite a smooth start, bit of a traverse, but riders are going to be up to speed pretty quick. So far, grip pretty good. These kind of gravelly corners, it kind of packs down. Really high speed this. I was going to slow down at some point. Whoa. Now it's getting into more kind of dirt and rock, and the rocks are really slick, but the dirt's really grippy, so it's a difficult balance. Corners like that last one, it's rocks all the way in on the braking, so you end up coming into them quite quick. I'll take this left line. Probably not the fastest, but keeping it fun out in the open at this really rocky, tight section. We'll go down inside. Again, nice support at the bottom of these chutes, so if you do get a bit out of shape, you can kind of trust the end of it. And some kind of, must have been fires here, you can kind of see that the trees are all scorched. Better line of sight because there's no vegetation. That was a flat one. And we'll get real high for this. Oh yeah. Could have been on that ledge there. So there you have it. Cabianca. Really cool little stage, if I'm honest. A lot of flow. Some really nice corners. Nothing to do with the course, but how cool is this? Tiny stage 3 here for the Bluegrass EWS finale. A really special stage this, dedicated to a local trail builder, Luca Martini, who recently passed away. The stage is called Black and White. It's relatively slow speed, but really intense just with how much is on the ground. A nice little, another one, little open section, and you just know sooner rather than later. Yeah, it soon tightens up. A lot of this looks really similar, so it means for riders it's oh, that'll do it. Some really awkward tight corners here. Little rocky chute here. Trying to slow down on some. And this is just really tough. And there's some of these insides over rocks, and then got like an old kind of rocky path very easy to just hit a square rock hidden and all that, and flat, and that, I believe, is stage 3. Relatively short, really, really physical.
Well, Ruaridh, welcome back. Nice of you to join us. Bit wet this afternoon?
It's been pretty mixed out there. A lot of puddles on the trails, and we saw in Pietra as well. Really mixed. Some riders thrived, some didn't. Be interesting, but yeah, not much dirt on this trail by the look of things. So
no, this is it, and this is the Queen stage as well. Neil, the pressure's on. Last stage of the season, and it's the Queen stage.
Yeah, and riders going for the win, of course. It's definitely a difficult trail to push on, like you say. It's well used. There's not much dirt on it. Mixed conditions, easy to make a mistake here.
Right, well, should we give it a go?
I think we should. I've ridden this before, so I'll see what I can remember.
Go on, Nick.
So, stage 4, Riga. Remember a cheeky inside here. It's quite a well-ridden trail this, so quite rocky, quite fast. A couple of little blind steps. The rain we've had has pulled a lot of gravel into the middle of the trails, so a little loose rocks to avoid. But yeah, we'll try that.
Now, this place has done this to me before, in that you get going on the rocks up there, you think, I've got this, everything is under control. You arrive into this chute, and then all of a sudden you're presented with this, and this is line choice heaven for a racer, really, isn't it?
It is. I mean, the track here is probably 30 foot wide, and there's a lot of scope in between. If you kind of really break it down, and there's probably only 3 main lines here. You've got the outside that you're standing on, Rick, the longest way around by quite a bit, but it does allow you to open up this section, turn where there's no rocks at the bottom, and carry speed out. You've got the middle line, which is kind of the rain rut effectively, most direct line to the corner on the outside, but you can just see what's in there. Huge rocks, a lot of gravel, and it's like a big deep channel. I'm stood on the inside, which is the shortest line, but then it makes that exit really, really tight, and you have to square off that corner. There's not really a right and wrong way of doing this. I think you'll maybe see the fastest guys up where you are, Rick, on the outside trying to carry speed round, but some of the riders, they might not be able to get up there. They might tend to take the inside, the shortest route, get through it quickly, and sacrifice that exit speed.
Now, a glaring omission from this course preview is, of course, men's DH. We're not using it this year, the first time in finale. And, well, it's famous for rock. We have got an abundance of rock here.
Whoa!
If I remember right, there's actually a few climbs in here. Yep, here's one of them.
From what I remember, Neil, this is absolutely horrific.
I can imagine that's quite a tough start stage. Slows down, then you start going up for a little while.
This is where physical fitness really comes into play.
But we can try.
Oh, not only that, it's technical. Riders will be throwing everything at this last stage of the race. Empty yourself on the climb.
That has to be it for climbing, doesn't it? I am burst. No individual championships up for grab this weekend. Instead, it's all about the teams.
Heart rate will be maxing by now, and there's still some technical downhill to go. And it's easy when you're maxed out to make a mistake that leads to a puncture. You see how Ruaridh's just heading to the edge of the corner to find some dirt, just to use as a berm.
There we have it then, 4 stages, a big day on the bike. Ruaridh, where does that course rank in your finale estimations?
Let's be honest, there's never a bad course in finale. I think that's a good mix of everything. The first 2 a bit steeper, faster, and then those last 2 really, really physical. And at the end as well. That's going to be tough, it's going to be a good race.
Neil, first of all, personally, can I thank you for being able to keep up with him and keeping him in order?
I'm not sure about that, but yeah, I'm
secondly, how was your first course preview for EWS? Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, like I said earlier, it's just really exciting to see what the guys and girls are going to be racing on. I think it's a different challenge for finale, but a physical one, a really technical one, difficult.
There we go. Now, if you fancy learning a bit more about outdoor sports in this area, check out finaleoutdoor.com for more. Don't forget, you can follow all the action from Bluegrass, EWS, Finale, Ligure right here on GMBN.